Welcome to ReallyLearnGuitar.com, Jeff's Tips, and we are going to just start today by talking about what's going to be happening here. So the tip for today is going to be to learn something called arpeggios. And what an arpeggio is a broken chord played one note at a time. So you can take any chord that you know and break it up into single notes. So here's a for instance of something called arpeggiating. So if you take a chord that you know, for instance, I'll hold a C chord, and I break it up and play it one note at a time. That's called arpeggiating. Now it's not really an arpeggio, because an arpeggio is the notes played in sequence. So if you take the notes of like a C chord, for instance, you'd have the notes C, E, and G, and you need to play those successively. C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, G, and on and on. Or if you take an A minor chord, you'd have the notes A, C, and E. So that would be over and over, A, C, E, A, C, E, A, C, E, however many times that you can find those. So the first thing we're going to do now is to take a look at some of these shapes that we're going to want to learn, and to do that, we'll be looking at the board. Okay, so you're going to see our arpeggios. I have a minor arpeggio and a major arpeggio. So the major arpeggio is a C arpeggio, and what we're going to do is to learn the shape. Arpeggios are often taught by learning the shape, but what would be really helpful is if you actually learn the notes. So anyway, we'll learn by just learning the shape for now. On the 4th string we have the 10th fret, on the 3rd string we have the 9th fret, on the 2nd string we have the 8th fret, 1st string we have the 8th fret, followed by the 12th. So there's a little bit of a stretch there. And then for the minor arpeggio, we will have the 7th fret on the 4th string, 5th fret on the 3rd string, 5th fret on the 2nd string, 5th fret on the 1st string, and the 8th fret on the 1st string. So it's a nice little line there. So let's talk about how to use these and how to play them a little easier, and then also a purpose. Alright, now that we have the shapes under our fingers, let's talk about some different ways to play them. So one way to play these, number one, you're going to be rolling your hand through them. So as you play this, you'll roll your fingers, so it'll be like. Okay, and same with this one. Now, because you have 3 notes in a row for the A minor arpeggio, you'll just roll your first finger right across the strings. Okay, and then in terms of the right hand, there's 2 ways that people will teach them. Number one would be to alternate pick it, which means down, up picking. Or another way would be to do what they call sweep picking, which is to just push down on the string and let your pick pop into each new string. And that would sound like this. Okay, I'm just pushing my pick through each string and rolling my hands. Okay, now a purpose for the arpeggios is sometimes, like in a jazz song for instance, chords will change so fast that you don't have a lot of options for scales, and your best bet is to accentuate each new chord with an arpeggio. So that's one real good purpose for arpeggios. Another reason is when you're playing solos or playing music in general. If your band is playing one specific chord, everybody should really acknowledge that that chord is happening. And arpeggios kind of lead you to the notes that you can use over the chords that are happening in the moment. So take a little time with this. The sweep picking, if you just practice a portion of the arpeggio, you'll get the idea. Okay? So thanks for joining me here today, and I'll see you next time.